Aftermath is certainly one of the more crazy maps that has recently been made in StarCraft 2. I was happy to see it as one of the finalists of the Team Liquid map contest, and I was even happier to see that it managed to take second place overall in the TLMC 16. Meaning that there is a very good chance that we will see this map at some point in the StarCraft 2 ladder map pool, and therefore also in tournaments. Now this map, it's got some features that I've never seen before in any of the maps ever. So I figured if we're gonna have a look at a couple of games on this map, we should probably feature our red Protoss player here. He goes by the name of Haas. And Haas, certainly, in case you're unfamiliar, he's certainly not afraid to mix it up and probably make use of some of those features. At the very least, that's what I'm hoping. So first off, we're gonna see him face off against another Protoss, then against the Zerg, and then also against the Terran, all in this one video. First off, his opponent in this first game, with the blue Protoss probes, he goes by the name of Skillis. Skillis, of course, a very strong Protoss player from the European server, so definitely not gonna be an easy opponent here for Haas whatsoever. Where are we gonna start? I guess we'll start with the main base. Main base, relatively normal. It's rather big, I suppose, but it's got a nice little jump-up pad right over here for a Reaper. Then you have a ramp, a small ramp that leads down towards the low ground. There's unbuildable plates right there at the bottom to not get cannon rushed. Nothing really out of the ordinary. The choke point over here, maybe a little bit wider than usual, but also not too crazy. There's no straight up ramp leading down towards the low ground from the natural towards the third base. Instead, you have a couple of different options. So either you go up north, take this as your triangle base. You can go down south, take this as your third base, also a perfectly viable option. Or you knock down the rocks and take the gold base instead. Now the gold base has a feature that I've never seen before in any of the StarCraft 2 maps. There are rocks over here. So obviously there's one right here on the other side of the map as well, since it's mirrored, but there's rocks right over here as well, so you could like destroy these and then run units around. Now the most unique feature, however, of this map is not one of those potential third bases, but it is what I would probably consider to be one of the fourth bases, or maybe you could take this as a third, or if you're Haas, maybe as your natural? Haas! Oh, I was joking. Oh no. I think this is just a scouting worker, but there's already 2 scouting workers out. Oh my god, no, really? Okay, so this is a speed circle where you can plant the Nexus if you really want to. Oh my god, he's coming up on 400 minerals. Well, that lined up perfectly with my commentary. So according to the map maker, this doesn't actually influence the mining time very much whatsoever. Because obviously the probes, they do spend a long time right here on the mineral fields and then they'll return to the Nexus. But the trips are gonna be quite a bit faster. So yeah, this should boost income ever so slightly. Apparently, though, it's mostly meant as a way to, like, harass the opponent. So imagine, like, you're happily mining these mineral patches over here, and then a bunch of Zerglings come running in. You're gonna get absolutely torn apart in a matter of seconds. Anyways, not really paying attention much to the battle, by the way. I probably should be. Everything is relatively normal so far. We've got a Twilight Council opener right here for Haas. We'll see what Skillis decides to do here in a little bit. He's favoring the quicker expansion right here. Just normal on the low ground. Now, an Hallucinated Phoenix here for Skillis has already scouted that Nexus as well on the speed up base. What do we even call this? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. What do we call this base? The speed base? The low ground boost base? The booster? No, actually, that's maybe a little too edgy. The boost base. Boost base does have a nice ring to it. Maybe you've got something creative, though. Let me know down below in the comment section of the video. Also, something that is not very common in StarCraft 2 at all is that this map has 4 layers to it. So, historically speaking, all StarCraft 2 maps have had 3 layers. So there's like a high ground in the main base, then a ramp that leads down over there, and then like a ramp that leads down towards the third playable layer, I suppose. At some point, Blizzard opened this up, and I think right now you can have up to 21 in the map editor, which is a little bit extreme, but this map, it features 4 layers. Which is not something that we normally see either. So obviously that does favor defensive play most of the time because the high ground vision is very nice. But anyways, there's a lot going on here. So there's 4 levels. Oh my god, a couple hallucinated stalkers over here to scare Haas a little bit. He's actually target firing down the hallucinations first. This could actually backfire really hard. Yeah. Not enough here for a Guardian Shield. Alright, I think eventually things will probably just mostly be a trade out here. I think Haas probably should have just fallen back right there to do a shield battery, but I guess then there's a chance the Skillis is just going to make a beeline straight to the main base. Yeah, reinforcing stalkers here have come up for Haas, so he's going to be able to clear this out relatively easily. I was a little bit concerned we're going to see, you know, a full-on destruction here right away in the earlier stages of this game. Alright, so to sum it up, it's got 4 layers. It's got a golden base with like a bunch of rocks in the middle of that mineral line. It's got that low ground boost, the booster base, whatever you want to call it. A mineral line that separates the players right over here as well. So I think these have 5 minerals each. Could be 20, meaning that you need a couple of probes going back and forth. Oh, thank you. Haas! Haas is just being a bro. Okay, it's got 10 over here. It's got 10. Wait, is Haas thinking about taking the other base too? I guess we can see right now how much income this actually gives him. So Skillas has... Wait, they both have a similar amount of workers. Skillas has 3 more. You know what? The income boost really isn't that significant at all. I mean, there are a couple more workers here for our blue Protoss player. But, yeah. It does affect the workers, if I'm not mistaken. It should. I don't think you can make that sort of exception in the editor. Can you? Maybe. Anyways. I was hoping this was going to give you a little bit more of a boost than it actually does. The boosted base. Anyways, it is pretty sick though, so if you take that one as well, I mean, it's gonna make a few percentages of difference at the very least, right? But a gold base definitely does seem a little bit more powerful. Oh, I thought it was a spider. It's just a tree. This map, by the way, does look very pretty as well, right? There's a big speed circle here in the bottom of the map as well, interestingly enough. Yeah, map makers have made very pretty maps over the last couple of years. This is important, because if you're gonna watch you know, an epic 40-minute long macro game, having very obnoxious colors or very hard to read contrasts makes the game quite exhausting to watch. Oh my god, he gets out? Really? Oh, alright. Never mind. A little bit of a dramatic ending right there. But yeah, it is important to have a pleasantly looking map as well. And I'm happy to see that a lot of the map makers have been very busy decorating their maps and not making them too dark and all that. Like, at some point in the map pools of StarCraft 2, we had, like, very dark maps. I remember a map called Acolyte, which I didn't really like too much anyways, but, like, playing on the maps, it made it hard for me to differentiate between my units. Just because it was so dark. I mean, it looked kind of pretty, but it was hard to actually read the game, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so Haas is actually just gonna go for this one as well. Once again, gonna open the income tab. Yeah, it does seem to give him a slight boost, right? Maybe, kind of. A little bit. Yeah, it's probably like a 5 to 10% improvement or so at first glance. If that, maybe less. Someone can probably run the numbers and figure out how quickly a base like that mines out. Anyhow. Wow, this concave right here is amazing for Skillas, though. That being said, there is a second Immortal here in the mix as well for our player in red. One of them does get targeted here. Second one also targeted down. Immortal here for Skillas was derping around for a little while, but it's gotten into the battle, and that concave does not mess around. Reinforcements here are coming up. I guess defending inside of that circle is... does it really matter in Stalker battles? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, that Immortal is having a good time. Blasting away at whatever it can. Finally, it will be destroyed here as well by Haas, but that was a lot of damage done by that unit. Okay, reinforcements coming up right now for Skillas. Both players just trying to micro back the weakened Stalkers. Thornton Nexus here is finishing up, but yeah, he decides to cancel it. I think I'm with Haas here. I would have assumed that it would make a bigger difference as well. I guess we at the very least figured that out quite quickly. So even though it's a really cool feature, I barely know if it makes that much of a difference, right? I mean, it's going to make harassment a bit easier, I suppose, but... maybe this base should be the golden one instead. I don't know. It's a cool idea, but maybe it doesn't actually matter all that much. Yeah, I think there's, by the way, just way too much right here for Skillas at this point. GG is cold. And with that, we're going to have a look at our Protoss versus Zerg. I need to go check something. I'm not playing against an opponent or anything, by the way. There it is. But I feel like this wall off right here is too wide. Am I crazy? So the default in StarCraft 2 is that you can wall these sort of walls off with 3 3x3 structures. Playing big game hunters, by the way. Maybe it's fine. No, you need a little bit more. So this... I mean... it looked very wide to me already. So normally it's 3 3x3 structures and then sometimes additionally another unit as well. So I guess... I mean, this is too much space. Like a Zealot alone is not going to hold that. I don't think there's a better way, right? To put down a pylon here. Yeah, that seems like the ideal spot. What if I put it a little bit further forward, though? So if you by the way were to put them down like that, with like the corners touching, Zerglings can still sneak through, which is obviously not what you want. Yeah, no, it's definitely... I feel like it's 1 hex too wide. Ah, it's gonna make it hard to wall off in the beginning of a game, especially if you are concerned with, like, you know, a 12 pool or something along those lines. Making sure the units don't just run into your base could be a bit of a disaster. Although I might be doing it wrong, I don't know. Anyways, our Zerg opponent in that Protoss versus Zerg that I was talking about is none other than Mr. Solar, one of the very best players in the world. And of course, this is none other than Haas once again. Haas this time around playing, I guess, on his Korean account. Anyways, I wouldn't mind it if this was made a little bit tighter. I think, yeah, making that wall the default is probably a good idea. Because otherwise I see so many Protoss players just simply, you know... It's already hard to defend against a lot of early game aggression, especially from like a Terran or, for example, a Zerg, or even in PvP as well. It's already difficult to defend when there's like no ramp leading down from the natural towards the low ground. I mean, you can't really wall over here, or, you know, like, it's too much space. Yeah, I don't know. I may have done it wrong, though, but not exactly sure. I'm also a little disappointed in the speed up circle, booster base, whatever you want to call it. It's cool, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. By the way, pool first right here for Mr. Solar. High ground wall off as well here for Haas, who is apparently thinking about taking a gold base first. He's got 400 minerals coming up. There it is. Yep, nice. Haas, by the way, as far as his overall rankings go, has fallen off a little bit compared to a few years ago. So at some point he even made it to the grand finals of a premier tournament, playing very cheesy build orders. I ended up watching that finals as well. I may have even cast some of those games. But let's just say that he got absolutely destroyed by Serral in the finals then, who was on absolute fire. I think that must have been 2018 or so, when Serral basically never lost. Anyways, since then, I guess players have just sort of started hard countering a lot of the things that Haas does. And obviously a bunch of his strategies also got nerfed because he made them look a little bit too broken. The Warp Prism pickup radius change and a bunch of other things as well. Anyways, Stolar right now has spotted the gold base first. Gonna be able to take care of that pylon relatively easily. Adept coming in right now from the left side. Without Zergling speed, these Zerglings are not gonna be able to really continue harassing here. Maybe this one is gonna be able to snatch up that probe. But other than that, I think the Nexus will go down. Are we gonna recall workers? I would like to see it. Okay, we're recalling some of them. Not too many. But he is transferring the probes right here towards the gold base. Stargate goes down at the gold as well. I almost feel like this... Like, okay, maybe I have obviously not tried it, right? But I almost feel like this should be the gold base instead. I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's gonna give you a regular gold base income plus like 10% or so, I guess, from my very quick observations. Then at the very least, Zerg has to respond to it, right? And get something done. In this case, Zerg doesn't really care all too much, I don't think. I mean, he knows it's going to be quite difficult here to take the natural. Alright. Haas is going to start working on the debris himself. It's going to take this little adept forever, though, because apparently it's got 2,000 health. I guess a Void Ray can make things a little bit better. Zergling Scout over here as well is gonna show up. And it will see that Stargate timing. Third hatchery has been taken down south. Solar not falling for the bait of that speed up booster base, whatever you want to call it, or the gold. The way in which you expend away from your opponent makes me think that this is going to be a pretty fantastic map for Zerg. I mean, obviously, initial impressions, these are just my very first games that I'm seeing on this map. But it's quite large, and usually on the larger maps, you sort of like expand in the direction of your opponent. But on this map, you tend to... Alright, this is nice. You tend to expand away from it. That combined with a very wide natural wall-off. Yeah, I'm a little concerned that like Protoss players will just end up vetoing this right away if it goes into the ladder map pool as it is right now. Again, I may have walled off wrong in the natural, but I really don't think so. Maybe someone can show me. What? Oh my god, I like it a lot. He's planted down a random freaking nexus on the wrong side of the minerals. So he knocked down... Okay, no, I thought he was gonna knock down these debris over here. And then, okay, no, he just put it down right over there. Fantastic. Battery right there. Manually targeting that pylon as well. Mr. Haas, however, hitting a big supply block. Ugh, that's a huge supply block. Not able to make another Void Ray here for at least a little bit. Now, this is working out a little bit better so far for Haas than I was imagining, but... I've got a feeling that something like a Queen March is just gonna absolutely decimate him, right? So we're currently up to 7 Queens. Which is nice, I suppose. The problem is that there is a fleet beacon here coming up as well. So there is going to be a timer here. If there's a couple of Tempest out, I guess a Queen-based push can definitely be shut down. At that point, Zerg sort of needs a Spire. But yeah, here we go. He's going to just start marching. Branda over here thinking about going to the natural, whereas all of the other... No, never mind. Where are we going? What? Karen! What are you doing? My bones hurt. Okay. Karen's gonna be killed. This is obviously a little bit sloppy. I think you can kill that, yeah. Obviously a little bit sloppy. Yeah, we're gonna just make a beeline straight towards that golden base. And I honestly don't see, without Tempest, how Protoss is gonna hold this. Zerg at this point sees as well the Tempests are under production. Because they can see the unit that's building right over there. Another pylon will be sniped. There is one more Stargate right over on the left side, but... Already 13 workers have gone down. One photon cannon over here, okay. Picking up 6 kills already. So... yeah, that's game over, right? Cool strategy again, Mr. Haas. I like it a lot. It's just that you're getting outclassed a little bit here. A for effort, I suppose. It would certainly destroy me in my games. But Solar looked at it once and immediately knew what to do. And while the execution here wasn't quite perfect from our Zerg player, at this point he's doubling the Protoss in supply. Lara's only just now coming up for Solar though, and there is another Tempest. Maybe a Tempest in a dream? Are we gonna... Really? Really, Haas? Dude, I love watching Haas games. I really like... Look at this. A double gold... Like, what are we doing right now? Other than greatness. Yeah, as like a multiplayer balance patch is around for a long time, the build orders that Haas likes to play are simply not as viable. Right? Like... The game is very well figured out. We haven't had a big balance overhaul since like mid-2000 and... What was it, 20? I think it was August 2020 when Blizzard last, you know, buffed the Void Ray, right? And since then, the game has been very well figured out. To the point where this sort of thing just... I mean, it sometimes works out, but... Against really good players, like for example Solar, who's a world-class Zerg, it's 9 times out of 10 gonna get shut down. Now, it would kind of suck if I finally feature Haas again on the YouTube channel in 3 games and he doesn't win a single one. I hope Mr. Haas can pick up the victory right here on Aftermath. This time around, his Terran opponent in our final game for today. He's going to be Acheron, playing with the green Terran SCVs. By the way, the map maker for Aftermath is called Depressed One, which is a bit of a sad nickname. I hope you're doing all right, whoever made this map. Not familiar with them. I had a quick little look in Wikipedia, and I couldn't really find too much information. So if I'm not mistaken, this is the very first time that they've made a map, at the very least, that made it this far. I might be mistaken, but I couldn't find much. So maybe they changed their nickname or something along those lines, but it doesn't ring a bell for me. Anyways, very cool map. With an asterisk right next to it. I think, once again, that this wall-off right over here should be tightened up a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how impactful this circle over here is, other than the fact that it looks cool. But I do like the overall layout. I think it's very pretty looking. I think the rocks right over here and the gold base are good. And the fact that you can choose which of the third bases you want to take is actually massive. That's not something we see all too often. Oftentimes, you're kind of forced into a direction. Oh, Acheron, blocking the natural expansion of Haas. Who do you think you're playing against, my man? A regular Protoss player who likes going for a natural expo? Yeah, Acheron right now, halfway through building that, realizes as well that maybe you should go check the main base, because there's still no probe on the low ground. So, he sees the second gas. He does not see the second pylon, because it's planted on the other side of the map. Well, let's see. So Acheron immediately forgoes the plan of going for his own natural 2. Decides to plant down a refinery. So this is a build that's still, even after a very long time... Really? We finished it? Alright, you're not supposed to finish it. You're supposed to, like, not build it all the way and then cancel it when the Protoss player is trying to take it. So you get some of your money back. Double missile turret already going down. This is an approach I haven't seen all too often. So, Haas right here, planting down a pylon as well on the low ground. It's a proxy Stargate here, which hasn't been spotted yet. Normally, these sort of openers are held by using Cyclones as well as Vikings. And obviously Marines and bunkers and all that. This is going to be an exceptionally, there you go. Words are hard, apparently. It's going to be a very late factory. Okay. Now, there are quite a few Marines out. Zealot right here, hiding in the corner, will be killed. And forcing the council right there on the shield battery is very nice too. Although the first Void Ray is already being chrono boosted out, and Acheron is still messing around in his own natural. This is quite good for him though. I think he can target it down and just kill it. And at that point, the Adept will likely be killed as well. Oh my god. Managed to get into the main base. Alright. A little bit of sloppiness here so far. Lasers! Lasers! Void Ray here, having a grand old time. Does need to be careful right here for the Widow meme. Not the perfect start here, though, for our Protoss player whatsoever. There's finally a tech lab on the factory going down, as well as a starport. A little bit of spawn location imbalance, by the way, as you may be aware. When you spawn on the right side of the map, like, for example, Acheron did over here, it makes defending this sort of shenanigans a little bit easier for him, because his add-ons are placed to the right side of the structures. Not something that you can control. You can't decide where you put down those add-ons. But you can imagine if this was on the other side of the map, the add-ons would be facing in the direction of the Void Rays. And losing the tech lab here would be a bit of a disaster. Losing the reactor as well would basically be GG. Never liked that. I'm still not sure exactly why there's never been the option to, like, decide where you want to place the add-on. Widowmine over here, by the way, continuously moved around, and eventually he does get a hit in. Cyclone at this point is out too. Obviously, the Cyclone lock-on is very strong. He needs a scan. Yep, there's the scan. Nice. Good defense right there by Acheron. Nexus, in the meantime, has gone down again at a different location. I like how Haas has taken multiple locations for the third, or for his natural expo, but none of them are the natural expansion location. Anyways, in this case, I guess he may have tried and then found out he couldn't. I feel like this is a good moment to take the gold, no? Or that one right over there. I don't know. Yeah, this is the normie third. I didn't know you were a normie, Haas. Okay, so the aggression has mostly been shut down. Looks like Protoss has sort of given up on it entirely. And instead, right now, we're gonna go into the Blink Stalkers. Blink Chrono Boost here. Terran, in the meantime, though, just sending out whatever unit he's got. And while Marines aren't upgraded here yet, they're still gonna be quite powerful, especially if you end up losing free units like that. Or units freely like that. Oh, you know what? I guess this base actually does make sense. Yeah. You get to control this choke point over here. Oh, it's actually by design. Okay, I actually like it. Okay. Terran could obviously knock down these rocks, but that would take like a minute. And going around the other side is also not really viable because... Oh, you know what? I like this section of the map quite a bit. Yeah, I wish they tightened up the natural choke point over here, and I wish this one was a little bit more impactful than it is. But... Okay. All of a sudden, by the way, yeah. Protoss, found a couple of Marines out on the map without medivacs, without stimpack, without combat shields, without anything. Blink is gonna finish up in a little bit as well. Maybe a bit of an overextension right there by Acheron. Okay, who just decides to GG out. Yeah, so he's going up against 2 base Protoss while being stuck on 1 base of his own, and then I guess he's gonna just accidentally lose all of his units. Not the greatest game right there to end on, but at the very least we've got ourselves a Haas victory with a cheesy opener. So what are your thoughts on Aftermath? Do you like it? Do you think we should use it on the ladder? Do you think it should be adjusted as well, like I suggested, to make it maybe a little bit more in line with the other maps and maybe make the speed up circle, the booster base? Whatever you want to call it. Do you think it should be a little bit more impactful? Because I was a little bit disappointed. It didn't really seem to make nearly as much of a difference as I hoped.